Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of EasyTalk English, the podcast where we help you learn English in a fun and easy way. I'm Eric.
And I'm Andrea. We're so glad you're here with us today. We're also joined by our wonderful co host, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Eric and Andrea. Hello to all our listeners. I'm excited to be here and share today's story with you.
In today's episode, we're going on a little adventure to the grocery store. It's something most of us do regularly, but it's also a great opportunity to learn useful English words and phrases.
That's right. We'll be building your vocabulary with everyday objects you see at the store, like a cart, an aisle, and a receipt. Plus, we'll talk about a handy phrase make a list.
So, let's get started. Sarah, take it away with our story.
Thanks, Eric and Andrea. Today's story is called A Morning at the Grocery Store. Let's begin. It was Saturday morning, and Emma decided to go grocery shopping. She grabbed her reusable bag, her phone, and, most importantly, her shopping list. It's always easier when I make a list, Emma said to herself as she walked out the door. When she arrived at the grocery store, Emma took a shopping cart from the row near the entrance. The wheel squeaked a little, but it worked just fine. She pushed the cart down the first aisle, where she found rows of fresh fruits and vegetables. Emma picked up a few apples and a bunch of bananas, placing them carefully in her cart. Next, she moved to the dairy aisle. She needed milk, cheese, and yogurt. Emma checked her list to make sure she didn't forget anything. It's so helpful to have everything written down, she thought. As Emma continued shopping, she noticed a small sign that read, "Special Offer." She picked up a pack of cookies and smiled. "A little treat for later won't hurt," she said to herself. Finally, Emma went to the checkout counter. She placed her items on the conveyor belt while the cashier scanned them. When the cashier handed her the receipt, Emma glanced at it to make sure everything was correct. "Thank you," she said as she put the receipt in her bag and headed home. And that's the end of Emma's morning at the grocery store. I hope you enjoyed the story. Now, let's learn more about the phrase and vocabulary we mentioned.
Thanks, Sarah. That was such a relatable story. Now, let's talk about our phrase of the day make a list.
Make a list means to write down the things you need or want to do. For example, before you go shopping, you can make a list of items to buy. Andrea, can you share another example?
Sure. You can make a list of tasks to do at work, like answering emails or preparing for a meeting. Lists help you stay organized and remember important things.
That's right. Now, let's look at the vocabulary words from today's story. The first word is cart.
A cart is a large container on wheels that you use to carry items while shopping. At the grocery store, you put your groceries in the cart. What about the next word, Eric?
The next word is aisle. An aisle is a walkway between shelves in a store. For example, in the story, Emma walked down the fruit and vegetable aisle. Andrea, can you explain the last word?
Of course. A receipt is a piece of paper that shows what you bought and how much you paid. The cashier gave Emma her receipt at the end of her shopping trip.
Great explanations. Now, listeners, take a moment to think about these words. Do you have a shopping cart, an aisle, or a receipt at home? Try to make a sentence using these words.
For example, I always keep my receipt after shopping. Or, the cereal is in aisle 3.
That's all for today's episode. We hope you learned something new about grocery shopping and how to make a list.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that wonderful story.
You're welcome. It was fun to bring Emma's morning to life.
And thank you, listeners, for joining us. Don't forget to practice using today's vocabulary and phrase. Maybe you can even make your own shopping list in English.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and leave us a review. And be sure to tune in next time for another fun and helpful episode of Easy Talk English.
Until then, happy learning.
Bye!
Bye.